channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make an alternate flay dress. So for that I'm going to be using about 3 yards of fabric, but mine is about 2.5 because I don't want the bottom too puffy. So let's get into the video. The first thing you're going to do is to cut the bottom of the dress, right? So you already know how you're going to cut the bottom. The flay part is just to know the full length of your dress. All you have to do is to check what you want to be the full length of your dress, and then you subtract your shoulder to, that's your half length, your shoulder to waist from the full length of the dress, right? So the full length of the dress you're working with, that's from your shoulder to the end, or maybe your knee. So you subtract your shoulder to the waist, whatever your shoulder to the waist from the full length of the dress, whatever you have left, that's going to be the length of the bottom of the dress, right? So for me, I'm going to be using half of this because the fabric is this way open. I folded it into two. I'm going to be using half of it, so that should be about my knee length or so, just above my knee. So whatever you have, whatever you want to be the bottom of the flay, just add 1.5 to it. That's 1 inch for folding the end, the rough end, and then half an inch for attaching the top part to your waist. So for me, I'm going to cut mine now. The next thing after separating it, so guys, after that, the next thing is to close up, open up the fabric, right? Fold it into two, then divide your bust measurement by 4. That's your normal basic bodice is what you're going to be using here. Bust measurement divided by 4. For me, bust is 40, divided by 4 is 11. So 11 fits in here. The next thing you're going to check is your shoulder to waist measurement. For me, is 17 plus extra 1 inch, that's 18. The extra 1 inch is half an inch for attaching the shoulder, and then half an inch for the bottom, so that's 1 inch. So the next thing you're going to do is to mark your shoulder measurement. For me, that's 16 divided by 2, that's going to be 8. You mark your armhole. Armhole for me is 20 divided by 2, that's going to be 10. So I'm going to mark my armhole, give it the curve here. The next thing you're going to do now is to come down here. So I'm going to just mark my neckline, which is, you can make yours 3 by 3, but I'm going to make mine 3.25 by 3.25, right? So I'm going to mark 3.25 here and also 3.25 here. You can make yours 3 by 3, depends on you, or 3 by 3.25 by 3. After that, you're going to mark your neck hole here, and then you come down here by 1 inch, right, for your shoulder slant, and then connect the 2 lines together. The next thing you're going to do after that is to come here, mark 2 inches all the way around, right? 2 inches from this curve that you gave it here, right? So from this curve, not from the square, but from the curve, you're going to mark 2 inches all the way around. 2 inches all the way around, right? So that's what I'm doing here. So guys, after that, the next thing you're going to do is to check your waist measurement. So the waist I'm going to be working with is 34 inches. 34 divided by 4, that's going to be 8.5 plus extra 2 inches, that's going to be 10.5. Extra 2 inches, that's because here you're going to add a dart, but there's no dart at the bust. So that's why I added extra 1 inch for the bust. That's only seam allowance, but 2 inches for the waist. That's 1 inch for seam allowance, 1 inch for the darting. So I'm going to curve it here, connect the line together here. So the next thing you're going to do after that is to come down from this slant here, come down here from the slant and mark about 2 inches, right? So at that 2 inches mark, you're going to try to connect it to your armhole here, right? You connect it to your armhole like this line that you made here for your armhole. So I've connected mine here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut it out. So guys, now I'm going to start cutting it out. So I'm going to start from the neckline, cut out the first circle here, and then the next thing I'm going to do is go down from this slant here, cut it down this way, right? So guys, after cutting out the front panel, right, you can just trace out the same the normal basic bodice pattern for the back panel before you cut out, because you normally use your front panel to trace out the back, right? So you know the normal back bodice would look something like this line that I drew in here, right? So what you're going to do now is to come back to your neckline and mark about 1 inch. So your neckline at the back is going to be down by 1 inch, but your neckline in front came down by about 3 inches. So from there, you're going to connect it this way, right? This is your back neckline, right? So but the next thing you're going to do is the same way you marked 2 inches distance from here to here, right? From this point here to this point, and you mark 2 inches all the way. That's what you're going to also do for the back neckline. So let me set this front panel aside and now trace out the back. So I'm going to mark 2 inches all the way through, all the way. So this is 2 inches all the way here, just to be sure I'm correct. So guys, the next thing you're going to do is from your shoulder slant, you come down by 2 inches, just like you did for the front. Like, come down by 2 inches on this line here, right? So this is where my 2 inches mark falls in. So now I'm also going to connect it back into this line here, right? Notice I didn't do the same for the front as the back. Like, I didn't cut it once and for all because the back neckline is slightly higher. You remember, because we did this one from this line, but in front we did it from about 3 inches down. So you can't do the two of them together. You have to do the front separately, cut it out, set it aside, and then mark the back neckline, and then come down the same 2 inches that you came down for here, down here. You come down here, connect it again to the armhole here, and then now cut it out. So now I'm going to cut this out here. So you first start with the neckline here, and remember, your center back always have about 1.5 or 1 inch for your zip allowance. You see, I have mine here, and then I also traced down my waist because that angle that goes here, I also traced it out. So now I'm going to cut this out here. So the same thing here, you go down the slant here, cut down this slant here, go down this way, go in this way, and then you go down this way. So that's basically how you're going to cut this here. So this is it. This is the back panel. So what you're going to do to this back panel now is that you're going to cut this out. You're going to cut this out. You cut it out, but don't throw it away. So cut it out. So I'm cutting mine out now. Set it aside. Cut out the one from the front, right? Cut it out from the line and also set it aside. So guys, this is what I'm working with right here. This is what I'm working with here. This is the back neckline. This is the front piece after cutting it out. This is my back piece right now. This is my back piece here. This is the front piece. As you can see, my back piece is into two, and then this is my front neckline here. So what I'm going to do now is to set these ones aside, and also let me remind you guys that you're also going to add a dart to this. So basically how you add the dart is you check your nipple to nipple measurement. For me is about 8, so that's going to be 4, right? 4 inches. Add about half an inch to it, right? So that my dart is going to fall in somewhere here. Add 1 inch or half an inch to it. My dart is going to fall in here. This is how I place my dart. So I already know where my fabric is folded into two, right side facing me. I'm going to fold it this way on that line that I just made, right? Fold it this way, pinch it out this way. So now I've folded it into two. When I go to my sewing machine, I'm just going to place it this way, right? And then give it a dart this way, almost something like this, right? So this is how I'm going to place in my dart, so that when I open it up, it looks like this. When I open it up, it looks something like this, right? Let me open it up so you guys could see. So this is what it would look like, right? So it's like a bow that you just make sure that the end is pointed. So the same for the back. This one here goes up. It stops from your waist up to maybe 11 inches, right? Up, going up. It doesn't get to 10 inches because for me, shoulder to bust for me is about 10 inches. Shoulder to the nipple is about 10 inches or so. So the next thing you're going to do is open up the back too and then fold it into two. That's how I do mine. So it might be different for other people. Just fold it into two this way, and then you also give it a dart. This one goes from about 10 inches length from the bottom, goes up to 10 inches. So that's how I'm going to give it a dart also at the back and set it aside. So this is the bottom of my flare here, so keep that one too. So now let's go back to the neckline. So what you're going to do is now to take the neckline that you've made, that you cut out. So this neckline here, right, you're going to take it and trace it out again. So I'm going to trace this one out too, right? This one here, I'm going to trace it out on this piece of fabric here. So guys, I've gone ahead and cut out another piece of this here and a second piece here. So this, I have two of them here. So I'm going to place it right side facing each other, right? I'm going to place it right side facing each other and make a stitch at the center. The same thing goes for the back. I'm going to find on each side, right side facing each other, make a stitch, and then the same on this side to right side facing each other, and then also make a stitch on this part here, right? And remember, the straight part at the back is the center. That's where your zip is going to fall in, right? But the curved part is the shoulder. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to, because remember you have 1 inch, 1 inch here. So when that 1 inch overlaps for your zip, then this fits in as your neckline. This also fits in as your neckline here. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go ahead, make a stitch here, make a stitch here, make a stitch all the way around here, and then flip it out this way, and also flip this one out here. And then I'm also going to use a bias to finish up my armhole on this here. I'm going to use a bias strip, right, and finish up my armhole. I'm going to use a bias strip on the armhole. So I'm going to do that and come back. What I did was, after sewing it, I attached the neckline. So you just basically you notch the center of the band for the neck, notch the center for the bodice, and then you just attach it. You see how I attached it here? If you look closely, you will see. Just place it on this, and then you attach it all the way to the neckline. And then I did the same thing for the back on each side. You see this side, I also attach it separately. So you just put back the piece that you cut off, right? So after that, I used a bias to finish up the side, finish up all the sides, right? And then I closed it up. So I just finished this side so I could show you guys. So I finished up this side, right, with the bias, and then closed up the side. Then attach the two shoulders. So this is how you're going to attach the shoulder when you're done. So you basically get it, and then you place it this way, and then make a stitch. So that's how I did this one. So what I'm going to do now is to get a bias and also finish up this end here. So I'm just going to fold this part in, and then that's basically it, and then attach my zip at the back, and that's it for the dress. So this is what it looks like at the moment. So this is what it looks like. So this is the shoulder. So I just have to put in the zip, finish up one shoulder, and that's basically it. So if you want yours to come down a little bit more, then maybe you should leave 2 inches and maybe make it 3 inches so it comes in deeper than that, right? Like if you want it deeper, you can come down more than 2 inches when you're cutting it, or whatever, maybe 3 inches, whatever you want. So that way it goes slant this way. So that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.